what I say.
Hello, we're back. My name is Harton Buatco. With us, we have Butch Valdez, who's the chair for the Philippine Save the Nation and LaRouche Society for the Philippines. Butch, let's pick it up where we stopped earlier.
Yeah.
The Bretton Woods Agreement was much later, and it was Roosevelt, President Roosevelt. This was how he was able to temper the greed of Wall Street, the illegal, or what you call the immoral movement of the banks with political will. Sinagot niya, he addressed it, and he was able to rebuild America once again.
Well, his whole program was precisely to stop the banks from using depositors' money to speculate, no? To use them for gambling. No? And immediately,
Which is what Wall Street is today.
Exactly what Wall Street is today, and has always been. No? Now, when Roosevelt came in, of course, he didn't come in too smoothly. Everybody was trying to stop him, especially those that were connected to the financial institutions, because they knew exactly what he was going to do. But the people wanted him in. So he had this strong backing and support of the people, and finally gets in. Now, he is the only president that was voted into office 4 times.
I didn't realize.
From
Pero kasi
1933.
difficult period siya during the Depression yan, di ba?
Yes, but you see, during the Depression, what his opponent at that time was Hoover, and Hoover was saying, you must allow this thing to happen because free market will find its way. Like water, it will seek its... And then he says, no, we're talking of human lives. We must intervene as government and stop the bleeding, and not
to a certain extent, that's what happened in 2008, 2009 when America saved what couldn't fail, the banks that could not fail because too big to fail.
No, well...
Disagree?
A little different from that high. But you see what happens here is, so he says he intervene. What does he mean by intervene? He takes over, stops the speculation, and goes back into a very productive USA, and creates jobs. 3 days after his election as president, he was documented to have created 11 million jobs. How did he do it? Because
walang naubusan ng property, hindi sila nasekwestro ng mga bangko.
Not only that, he immediately started on infrastructure projects. So every state head now was being
they were
asked to recruit
They were generating,
people,
they were generating jobs.
So many people. So immediately on record, infrastructure.
Yes.
No, and he constructed up to 2,000 dams during the 2000 for hydroelectric. No? At that time, wala pang talagang nuclear. No? So hydroelectric ang pinasukan niya, tsaka other things. So this is what he did. And soon after, he got the factories of the U.S. moving. And before he knew it, they were exporting trucks, jeeps, and all hardware. And before he knew it, he started
Industry America the way we know it.
Steel, no?
Yes.
So on and so forth. And then towards the end of the war, right before the surrender, but towards the end of the war, surrender of Japanese, and so he died. Questionable circumstances, but he died. But he was able to start the Bretton Woods Agreement. It's a new economic order, a system of fixed exchange rates.
Fixed, hindi pwedeng floating like what we have now.
Right, fixed exchange rate. No. And to set up a new economic order. Now, that must be differentiated from what we have now, which is the floating exchange rate.
How long did the Bretton Woods last? 10 years lang, ano? Not even.
No, from 1945, it lasted effectively up to 1971.
Matagal din.
Yes.
And yet, they opted to take it out.
Yes, because the bankers wanted it out. The financial institutions wanted it out. It might, because we might be taking so much time to discuss these details. But at any rate, let me
bring it forward.
Fast forward
bring it
to today.
Bring it forward.
The present problems today are of the same nature that Roosevelt faced. But
That's
On
why
one-
you're saying
on
we
one
have
thing, right.
a crisis. Go ahead.
The difference is, at that time, it was the United States.
Now,
Now it's the world. You see? And it's of the same nature. You see, the speculative, the gambling casino of speculation is worldwide.
you're not talking of the gaming industry per se. You're talking of the banks when you say the gambling casino.
Well,
or you're
I'm
also
talking
inclusive.
about, you see, Wall Street is the market, right? The players here are the financial institutions.
Yeah, all the
right?
banks, central banks,
Right.
etc.
When you say banks, you don't no longer have just ordinary commercial banks. You have investment banks that have transformed themselves into what you call banks, right?
Like mutate.
Yeah. Well, because we have allowed it. No. Remember, I mentioned this one time in your show, that there was a particular law called the Glass-Steagall Act.
Yes, the
okay,
Glass-Steagall Act.
that made, this was started by Roosevelt, that made these banks unable to use depositors' money for speculation. Remember? That was his move. It's called the Glass-Steagall Act. And that, in the United States, continued up to 1999. In 1999, that law was repealed. Remember, from 1933
Until
up
99.
to 1999. In
66 years,
1999, repealed. When they got Clinton at the barrel of a gun about to be impeached because of this Lewinsky thing. So the bankers pressured him to allow the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act. And what happened then, they opened the gates, the floodgates, for all insurance companies, the AIGs, the
big
Lehman Brothers, the Merrill Lynches, to become banks, to become deposit gatherers, and to use the people's money
To speculative.
for speculative investments. Okay? So these are the people's money now being used for speculation.
So what are you saying now? It's come to a point that they can no longer pay the dues of the speculation that they've created while generating a profit.
Exactly. Exactly. And so what had happened was the debt had mounted, that no matter how much you pump up, it's just going to pay the debt that has mounted. And there is nothing.
Meantime,
You cannot-
yumaman ang mga traders tsaka mga investment houses because per transaction may porsyento sila.
Of course. Plus, of course, yung mga nag-speculate. No? Kasi mga bangko, maski na nagbo-broker sila, ganyan, sila din naman speculate.
Sila rin.
Tapos pumapasok pa tayo sa commodity futures market.
Yun ang mga weird.
This commodity futures market, binebenta mo na, hindi pa naproproduce.
Like
Yung
oil.
right?
Oil, yes.
Oil or all kinds of agricultural products
correct.
now. Hindi mo pa natatanim, hindi next year pa aanihin yan, binebenta mo na yung ownership mo dyan.
Speculative
sa speculation.
speculation.
Right? And dyan tumataya, you see? And this is what happened. And this is why we were...
That's what I mean. That's what you call the casino, not necessarily the gaming casino that we know of.
No.
The slot machines and whatnot.
A casino is
It's one and the same
speculation.
thing.
Speculation, di ba? Tumataya ka kung sinong mananalo. And this is what had happened to us. And in order to beef up and continue this bubble, all interest rates, especially by Japan and by the US and by Europe, binabaan nila to less than 1% practically.
Correct.
So that it became so cheap, money became so cheap and halos nothing,
Nag-utang na
0.5%.
naman.
You borrow the money to play the market, para buhay itong market. You see? Walang pumupunta sa physical economy. Walang pumupunta sa industry.
Why there's no growth?
There's no growth.
But there's a lot of money.
Yeah. And there is no growth, no physical economy, no employment.
Ayun.
No.
That's how it gets to unemployment. So no growth, no development.
No development.
Poor get poorer.
And they die. You see? This is what we're facing now. And that system is now in process of blowing up.
Right.
That's what you're seeing now, all in the red, because everybody is trying to sell out and cash in on the speculation.
But what big deal is the money worth if this whole thing blows up?
Well, to them, they want their money. They're thinking that they want their money. So what we're seeing from afar is it's blowing up. Now, as this thing is happening, the control of these countries not to print is going to be loosened. Because
Meaning they'll be all allowed to print.
inevitably, all countries might be moving towards
Quantitative easing.
a printing up of money, which means uncontrolled inflation. They call it hyperinflation. No? And in order to be able to
Saan
have a system,
kukunin, for example, yung China AIIB? Saan nila kukunin yung funding nila?
well, at that time, when they were pushing this, they remember they have $2 trillion of U.S. debt.
Yun ang gagamitin nila.
Well, they have funds, right? But you see, and so that was, they're not going to lend you the money directly, right? Meaning you want a infrastructure, you want a nuclear power plant. No? They will fund that, no? And then use whatever funds they have in order to get that through. But the kind of concessions they're going to give you is completely different from what IMF or World Bank or any of these financial institutions are willing to give you.
We just
It's
asked
all
to join
concession.
up recently.
Which was late, too little and too late. No? Because nakita na siguro nitong sila Purisima and our central bank that this thing is blowing up. No? And we have to move towards the most stable economy in the world now, which is China. No?
Not America, huh?
No, not America. No. America is technically bankrupt. It has debts which it cannot pay.
Well, the 2 trillion alone.
Yeah, the
to
same
China.
thing with the whole of Europe. That's why you're seeing countries, whole countries, going.
So the
belly
end
up.
of development, the end of infrastructure buildup, the end of jobs.
If we don't do what we're supposed to do, you see, what are we supposed to do? China has suggested AIIB, and they also suggested the BRICS Bank. These are financial institutions, no, that are moving towards funding a global infrastructure project.
Right,
Okay? And once you get in, no, the kind of concessions you're going to be given is tremendous. For example, in China and Argentina. Argentina president at the time, Cristina Kirchner said, I need 4 nuclear power plants. You have it. I need a fast railway system that goes...
Binigay kagad.
Binigay kagad. But I don't have dollars. It's all right. I cannot pay you right away. It's all right. You pay me when you can. You tell me when you can. I need 10 years moratorium for that. Okay. No, but I don't have the dollars. It's okay. We will take in your Argentine pesos. Can you imagine that kind of arrangement? Why is it that China and all of these guys, because their economists know that if you go down, they will go down
They
as
will
well.
go down. So you save them to stop your inevitable collapse.
Right. So,
in other words, delay lang.
no, it's not. You see what happens is, if you develop, you become a market for China. You see? And if you become a market for China, then I develop. But if all of you go down, I'll
go
have
down with
problems.
it, yeah.
Just like right now. Why is China also having problems? Because the U.S. and Europe, which are the biggest market of China goods, no longer can buy China goods because they have inflated so much. The importation of China goods to them becomes very expensive.
Hindi na competitive.
Hindi na kami. And especially with this crisis, they're going to be inflating some more, right? And lalong hindi makaka-export ang China. So what does China do in anticipation of that? It devalues its currency so that it cheapens further their goods so that they continue selling.
Correct.
It's
And
a
they're
it's-
also developing their own internal consumerism right now.
Well, also, but it's a defensive move. And yet this CNN and Bloomberg, makikita mo all in unison blaming China for this whole contagion. No, it's not China's fault.
It's
the
America's
US.
fault. And
It's the US and the British. No. It's
Sila
their fault.
actually yung cause.
Yes. No.
So effect lang talaga ang
Yeah.
China.
And China has been asking, let us move towards infrastructure development. US, and inviting the US to join. But
Of which they will control, the AIIB.
no,
Unlike the World Bank, Amerikano.
well, you're just looking at, if you look at the way it is set up, no, it has no, the intention is not to control that AIIB, no, because the considerations are such that it's pushing towards the development of the other. You see, unlike the present agreements that we have in certain loans, talagang advantageous sa mga bangko. Sasakaling ka talaga hanggang mamatay ka. Ito hindi. Pay when you can.
10 years.
Pay in your own currency. Not yuan. No? In your own currency. Why? Because ang feeling ng development is like this. If your country starts becoming productive, then your currency has value.
Oo, tama. May mabibenta sa amin eh. Bibili namin sa iyo.
Kasi may value yung currency mo. Merong backup. Yung production mo is your backup, right? And that's why I will take in your Argentine pesos. And I know that you will be productive because I'm lending you the money to become productive.
As long as wag may waldas, you put it in infrastructure and production.
Of course. No. That's the, you want to save your country, no? Go into infrastructure. The infrastructure especially has to be in energy. Let's forget about these corny things like farm-to-market roads as
Energy. No. Infra talaga.
Energy dapat. No? Yan ang unang-una. If you have available, affordable, reliable energy, then you can put up factories. Your agriculture starts moving. And so
industrials, be it for agriculture or anything else.
Yeah. Going back to this crisis, the world crisis we're facing, you have this financial contagion and as we speak now, continuous yan, and there will be no let-up. We don't think there's going to be any let-up in the continuous deterioration of the markets. And before
we don't see any right now.
Well, it's not first of all, our markets are nothing. It's almost like a pinprick compared to the whole world. And secondly, they don't
but the world market, for example, no, here they don't, but Europe, for example, is still going nowhere, still in the doldrums.
Yeah, not only, Europe is actually starting this bail-in program.
Term yan,
bail-in.
Hindi bail-out, hindi sinasalo.
That means governments are going to confiscate and sequester private assets, depositors' money, and physical assets in order to save itself, no? Save the country. No? And that's the rationale behind confiscation of property.
Which is what the banks wanted to do by foreclosing.
Well, the natural thing is
which
like
is
that,
what,
but it's not that's foreclosing.
Going back to Roosevelt, which is what he stopped.
Foreclosing is because the guy cannot pay.
Cannot pay.
So you're getting his house because he cannot pay for his house. But now, even if I don't owe the bank anything,
if you don't own, kukunin din.
This is called bail-in. They did it to Cyprus, no? Wherein 30% of the depositors' money was not allowed to be withdrawn. They did it in Spain, wherein part of the depositors' money, by law,
By law,
they said, this money you cannot withdraw because we're going to convert it to shares, your ownership in the bank.
oh my God, forced.
Yeah. They did it there, and they're going to do it Europe-wide, and this will happen also in the United States. And this is going to cause tremendous social unrest.
Of
Magagalit
course.
ang tao. Okay.
Of course.
And then you will see now the kind of crisis and the kind of anarchy and chaos that will start from this. No? And what happens there? Leaders might be tempted to use force. First, they use force on their own people. They become fascist governments. And then they will use force on other countries.
Aggressive
That's
na,
why
aggression na.
that's why the threat of war is real. These are the perfect storms that are now merging
Coming together.
into one that never happened before in this
That is not
magnitude
a
in the
solution
world.
towards any development or peace. That is a phenomena for a complete and successful ruin, is what you're saying.
Yes, self-destruct.
Self-destruct.
What is the solution? The solution is first get the people who have their fingers on the trigger.
The powerful people.
Yeah, the fingers on. In this particular case, we think it's Obama.
It
that
could also be
knows
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping is not moving towards war. He has not moved towards war. No. Neither has Putin. All of those people have been taking defensive action against the aggression of
No, you can't say
aggressive-
about the war in Crimea. How will you rationalize the China intrusion into our waters?
No, that's another thing.
Iba pa.
You see, again, you must understand how they use China as the culprit in this financial contagion, right? Now we're using the same thing as I mentioned before, using China as the aggressor in this whole situation. But we are quiet. We keep on not talking about the elephant in the room, which is why are there U.S. installations inside Philippine military bases in the Philippines? And those installations are not being checked by anyone. You cannot investigate what it is. Not even the president can
It's
look
allowed,
into
yeah.
it. The officer. And these are big installations. And there's construction going down. What do you think it is? Common sense will tell you that they might be, in all likelihood, be constructing silos. What are silos used for?
Nuclear.
Nuclear warheads.
Yeah, nuclear war.
And they said there are already 8 of these installations.
In
Which
the
means one
Philippines.
installation could be several, right?
Right.
All over
Mga
the
silos.
Philippines. And this is, we have been made into a U.S. military base, risking 100 million lives.
Nasa
Without-
bayan natin
without
yan, hindi
our-
natin alam. And the only reason we don't know is because there's some corrupt local officials that are paid by the Americans
Well,
to allow them.
the president.
The president.
The president allowed this, right?
Okay.
And the legislators conspired to keep quiet, and the media conspired to keep quiet. But it's there. Now, the Chinese know that. What do you think they're going to do? They're just going to sit back and wait? So they go to these disputed islands. What is a disputed island? Which means
No one really
you're
owns.
claiming that it's yours and we're claiming that it's ours. Has it been agreed?
contestation,
No. But we're putting it up there.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
So here we are arguing about a disputed area. No?
When actually
When
invasion
actually-
is already started. Ando doon na.
Anong invasion?
Ando doon na sila.
Andun na yung kanilang nuclear arms nakapoint na sa China. And where do you think China will have to direct their...
To us, siyempre. Tayo
And what
collateral
about our
damage.
lives? Did we agree to this?
Yes, collateral damage.
This is what those guys that are pushing for this Sprat listing, no? I think it is a malicious move on their part, no? Because in their minds, they should kampihan na to. Kumampi ka na lang sa Amerikano at wag na lang dun sa
Si
China.
Ganon.
Ano ba naman to? Ba't ang buhay naman natin? Hindi naman nila tiisipin yon. Ang kalaban natin, porque kampi tayo sa Amerikano, hindi tayo mamamatay. Gusto
Mas
ba
malala
natin
nga
yan?
yan eh. Tayo nga ang tatamaan eh.
Exactly. Na? And to me, it's treasonous. No?
what will come first? The financial meltdown or
the war?
Or the war, physical
Well, the
war.
financial meltdown is going on now. No, they're starting. Yeah.
So kung magkagulo talaga yung financial meltdown and it comes to a tipping point, war will be a deflector.
I think it's inevitable.
It's a deflector to get the people's mind away from the real issues.
No, no, no. It's a
consequence of one of the
yeah,
one
it's a
of the other.
No, because you see the financial system as now is we knew it was a means to control the world. See,
And now it's going out of control.
They're losing their control. No? So what will happen is they want to keep their hegemony, and they're pushed to go into the military method of controlling world, and that means a world war because the the countries that are there are not going to be giving up their sovereignty.
So you're talking America.
I'm talking
versus-
only Obama. You see, Obama
He's
is not
only got-
America.
He's only
right?
got 9 months to go.
Yeah, but how many months does humanity have? We might not have that much. You see, we're thinking about elections, but the contagion is starting now. And then you've got other things, what you call proxy wars. You've got Saudi and
Yeah,
Iran
the proxy wars ongoing, yes.
about to fight each other, right?
Yes, it's about to blow up.
And you've got the ISIS, and then you've got Syria, no? And
Not to mention the South American countries that are imploding.
yes, of course. And you have all of these things going on, right? How long does humanity have? Will whatever we're saying, let's say, get rid of Obama now, implement this system that in the same line that Roosevelt had done for the rest of the world and not just for the U.S. It's the only solution. It's the only way that we can see. There's no other way.
But Butch, I don't see any contestant against the replacement of Obama that's going in the right direction. I mean, if parang the world becomes more volatile if Trump is there.
No, that's why. Even with you're talking about Trump, the same thing here in the Philippines. You know, there is no one that understands this enough
A
to
holistic
be able
point
to
of
do
view.
to be able to do the right thing. Now, this is what is needed. There are some people in the United States that know what to do, and whoever is going to lead, understanding that it's about to blow up. If you don't do this,
Yes.
then they will move towards that. There are many legislators now. They just
understand.
don't have the numbers who understand it. Senators and congressmen. Not all of them are stupid. Here in the Philippines, maybe most, if not all, are stupid. And we don't have the luxury of understanding these things.
Butch, we have to wrap up. We've extended. Yeah, you have to wrap it up. Okay. How do you wrap that up?
Well, just like the United States, we have to do something. And I always am inspired by that movie that I saw by General Luna. He says, bayan o sarili. We just have to make a choice. Forget about elections. And don't think about this thing about luxury of having another president. Maybe it's going to be. Now we know that we're going to have to do something. Now, you make your choices. Are you going to vacillate and wait for this whole thing to hit us on the head?
No.
Or do something about it?
Ako, isa lang presidente that's competent. I hate to say it. As much as you have your doubts, Bina is the only likely president. Hindi naman pwede si Mare. He's extremely unpopular because he's a Noy clone. Grace Poe's an American. Duterte is a far cry. He's still a volatile, iffy candidate.
Well, my comment to that, Harry, is, of course, if you're close enough to Binay, please advise him. Tell him about this.
We're going to have to end the show. The answer to that question, am I close enough? No, I have no direct relationship, but I do know a number of people who opened my eyes to what Binay is. Yes, Butch, I will try and bring you so that you can have a one-on-one and explain it to him and his close people that will be with him when they walk into Malacanang. As far as understanding the world crisis, what we're doing, what Butch is doing, Butch is very serious, mind you. His passion, it's not just passion and emotion. No, this comes with a great deal of study, research, and a lot of talk around the world, not necessarily just in the Philippines. And based on actual events that can actually pose as solutions for the future. Alam niyo po, ang tawag diyan critical thought. Mabigat-bigat nga ang topic natin ngayong gabi. I apologize for that, but I don't apologize for the mess the world has come into with the leaders that the people have chosen. That just complicates the issues. In other words, maybe another way to part would be, don't be part of the complication. Be part of the solution by understanding and knowing which way it's going to go. And maybe you can help educate the others. Alam mo, mob rule cannot continue. Just because we're Catholics and we love, for example, the procession of the Black Nazarene and all of that, it doesn't mean we can step on the next person and the next person and go into idolatry and go into mob rule and tyranny just because I'm Catholic. It's out of bounds. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you appreciate the program and what we've done, and we try to bring some more. Listen to Butch's show every Sunday at 558.
At 558, 7:15 to 9 p.m. every Sunday.
7:15 to 9 p.m. Sunday, so leisurely at home, just tune in. And try not to do too many things while you're listening to help you understand. It's not an easy subject. So, concentrate when you're listening. Maraming salamat po, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are what you watch.